Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Knauer. I worked on the Basque Connections on the global burden of hearing loss across the lifespan this summer, and I'm a rising junior studying medical utilitarianism and an incoming Margolis undergraduate scholar. This summer, I had the privilege of working with Dr. Sandhu Boji, Dr. Jillian Saunders-Schmidler, and also received support from Ethan Bohr and the rest of our Duke Basque Connections team. So hearing loss is the fourth leading cause of years lived with disability worldwide in 2015. The prevalence of hearing loss doubles with every 10-year increase in age, so that by the age of 85 years old, 80% of people will have hearing loss that disrupts communication. 500 million people worldwide have disabling hearing loss, according to 2015 estimates, and hearing loss is damaging to childhood development, language development, and social interactions across the lifespan. Hearing loss is also associated with dementia and other late life health conditions, even when other risks for these disorders are accounted for. So to talk about the context of hearing loss for a second here, sound waves are collected by the outer ear, which are then transduced by the middle ear, encoded by the inner ear, and then decoded by the brain, which leads to our perception of sound. Hearing loss happens in two main ways, the first being sensory neural hearing loss, which happens when there's issues with or damage to the inner ear, resulting in a loss of clarity and sharpness, and this is the most common type of hearing loss, or conductive hearing loss, which occurs with leading to a reduction in sound, and clarity remains. 80% of hearing loss occurs in low and middle income countries, but there are a lot of options for reducing the burden of hearing loss through prevention and treatment. So I've included just a small snapshot of all the different options here. Vaccination and cochlear implants are pretty big ones, as well as increasing access to hearing aids and adherence to hearing aids once they've been prescribed. So in response to all of these different interventions, the Lancet Commission on World Hearing Day in 2019 announced a new commission to study the global burden of hearing loss. The commission has global representation, including international experts, half of which are from low and middle income countries where 80% of those with hearing loss live. And the commission has leaders from healthcare, public health, policy, and health economics, including a very strong presence from the Duke-Margolis Center and the Basque Connections team that I am working on. So this Basque Connections team is working on the Finance Models and Global Policy Working Group. It's led by Dr. Saunders-Schmidler and Dr. Sandhu Boji. We have three work streams, model development and evidence synthesis, which we then will use to incorporate building our investment case. And all three work streams are incorporating the issues of intervention type, target population, and country income group in order to develop a truly global estimate for this disease burden. So over the summer, I helped work on a systematic review to find model parameters for the model building work stream. I helped work on Basque Connections class tasks, as well as working with the Basque Connections class to begin systematic review question development. And the main task, which I'll spend the rest of the time talking about, was populating an etiology table on the different prevalence and incidences of hearing loss. So the goal is to populate this table with data on the different etiologies of hearing loss, and then use this in our model work stream in order to generate outputs on the cost of hearing loss, as well as the benefits of the various treatment hearing options. So this was developed from a review of current literature, including a World Health bulletin on the possible prevention methods of hearing loss. I added in etiology groups and then reorganized so that it was listed by age groups and then subcategories where we can find prevalence and incidence among those. So far, I've collapsed it into the most prevalent topic areas, such as infectious or environmental, across each of these lifespans. We've found estimates or systematic reviews or highly cited articles for the prenatal and the perinatal causes of hearing loss, and I've spent this week working on the childhood, in particular the infectious diseases. Some of the challenges that I'm facing are finding more recent reviews and finding reviews that are from both high and low income settings in order to make our model generalizable to the entire global burden. And from here on out, I plan to continue populating the table, locating some more up-to-date articles, and continue working on this with the Basque Connections team into fall of 2020. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any questions from folks? I will dive in with a question. So I guess one of the challenges, and we've talked a lot about, is related to the generalizability. And I guess what are your thoughts in terms of what we're going to be able to do going forward, looking at kind of what you're seeing in the evidence and how to generalize it to some of those low and middle income countries?
Well, so far, the vast majority of estimates have come from high income countries, especially from the United States, and then a lot from the UK. So I think generalizability will present the biggest challenge to building this model out. There are a few instances of different etiologies where I've been able to find some really solid estimates from low and middle income countries, but even in that case, I haven't been able to find lower middle income countries from like each region around the world. So I think we're going to have to make a lot of assumptions and incorporate that into when we present our work in order to truly encompass as much generalizability as possible.